The first time I had this young lady on, my daughter got a hold of me and said, "Oh my God, I'm in tears. I'm crying. I watched this lady every single day of my childhood." My daughter Gabby said this. It's Leigh-Allyn Baker, great friend of ours, incredible actor, incredible writer, producer. Angel.com is the website. We'll also tell you how to get to her Instagram in a second. Leigh-Allyn, how are you? Good to see you again.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. This is a rough time. I mean, I hear it in your voice. We're all exasperated and we're all looking for an answer, and we're not going to really be able to find an answer. I feel like we were very lucky to have our friend Charlie in our lives for as long as we did. We should have had him another 60 years. But yeah. I'm going to say this on a personal note. You and I have met in person now, although we've done interviews before, and that was only because of Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. He literally was bringing really, like-minded people and those who weren't like-minded together, wasn't he?
Together, yes. Mm-hmm.
So when we saw each other in Dallas, can I tell you a little inside baseball? Yeah. I saw you and I said, I'm not going to bother her. She's got people around her. People are getting autographs. People are coming up and they want to interview you. And you actually made a beeline to me, and I felt so good about that. You're really as nice as you appear, on all the stuff that you do. You're really that person, and I love that you are. You're very genuine. Could you always be genuine when you were actually in Hollywood working for Disney? Did you have to change who you are a bit, or were you always this person?
I was always this person, but there was elements of me that had to be hidden. I couldn't go out telling everyone that my children have vaccine injuries, and I certainly couldn't go out and speak about how, I'm a Christian. So that's where it was kind of different. I couldn't speak about my viewpoints, but it wasn't hard because it wasn't a time where that was forbidden hate speech.
Right. Exactly right. And it turned into that. We were all shut down. We were all allegedly canceled, although we're coming out even better at the other end. You talk about vaccine injuries. I want to talk about that just for a moment. I don't know if you saw this, but Hillary Clinton today came out against RFK Jr.
I haven't seen it. Lay it on me.
I'm not going to play it because I don't want to give her the airtime on my show. But basically, she says that the rate of mortality for Americans was this in 1800. It was that in 1900. We're all living much older now. What is RFK Jr. doing? What is this administration doing? Why don't they leave the medicine alone? All the administration did this week, Leigh-Allyn, and you know this because you saw this. President Trump came out and said there are studies showing there might be a problem with Tylenol and pregnant women. And we're looking into vax injuries, and we're looking into what causes autism. How can anybody on this planet be against us finding out if taking this stuff and doing these things is bad for us?
Because people are so brainwashed that they think it's just like when I came out and said my children are vaccine injured, I can't vaccinate them, and I'm not going to mask them because cutting off their oxygen is bad for the neurology. I said that at a school board meeting, and suddenly I was a racist who think Black lives don't matter, and I was homophobic. Oh my God. Even though I've done 26 episodes of Will and Grace, I was now homophobic.
How do you possibly make that connection? Listen, you and I can't really think like they think. We try to because we want to understand where they're coming from. But how on earth can somebody make the connection to masks don't work and it's making us oxygen deprived and it's also hurting our children socially because they're not in the classroom? How can you make that connection to you're anti everything and everybody? How do they do that? Because they really believe it. The indoctrinated ones do. Those who are leading just want to be president or king. But those who get in line and will kill somebody, literally, we just saw it. We just saw it today at an ICE facility in Dallas. What goes into the mechanism of the brain, do you think? I know you're not a psychologist, and neither am I, but we try to understand the other side. They're understandable.
I think a lot of people think it's some sort of apocalyptic demonic possession because it's so bizarre. But at the root of it, it's really a brainwashing, right? You raise an entire generation to confuse them, to bombard them with a whole bunch of information that is not accurate. For example, I spoke about this, back in 2020 when I was interviewed. I spoke about when Obama had changed the Smith-Mundt Act. And what he had done this in 2012, 2013, where he had effectively changed it to where it was legal for the media to propagandize our U.S. citizens. This is the stuff that they use to topple governments in third world.
Right.
And now our government was wielding this weapon on us. And so what they've done is they have portrayed people who are Christians. They've portrayed people who are just conservatives, which means, by the way, let me define this for everyone. Liberal, you want government to control you. Thank you, daddy government. Yes. And conservative means you want the power for the people. Exactly. That's what the difference is. Okay. And so Then you get people that give death threats and rape threats and then put a bullet in Charlie Kirk. That's what you get.
Yeah. Exactly right. It's Leigh-Allyn Baker. She's in a brand new program called A Week. Actually, it's a series called A Week Away. Go right now to angel.com/shows/A Week Away series. Just go to angel.com and there'll be a click there that you can go and do it. I also urge you to go and follow her on Instagram. She's a great follow. More followers than I have, which is rude. L_A_Baker_13. L_A_Baker_13, because everybody stole all the names that sound more like your name.
Stole my name.
Yeah, go and follow her there. Let me
follow me there, and the link in my bio, you will get 30% off joining Angel. And look, join Angel, because this is a platform of product and IP for the people, by the people. I mean that what happens in order to get on Angel is you have to make a torch, kind of like a trailer. And it has to be voted on by the people that are members of Angel to see if it is worth even going to the next step. So everything that is on Angel has been selected by freedom-minded people that want programming that isn't going to re-educate, indoctrinate, brainwash a nation. This kind of platform, Angel, is how we the people take the power back.
It's Netflix for cool people, I said before we started. You'd agree to that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It is Leigh-Allyn Baker. Again, L_A_Baker_13. We follow each other over on Instagram. By the way, are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok.
I'm kicking your ass, Leigh-Allyn. I'm kicking your ass there. I'm kicking your ass on there.
I'm on it and I'm not on it. So I just started that last year, and I've already gotten up to 500,000 followers. Just
Love it.
Starting.
I've got 1.1 million, so I'm beating you there. But I'm happy to help. Yeah, but we'll collab on a couple of these, and we'll build the following there. I want everybody to follow you everywhere. Is what my intention is here.
Yeah, same with you. I mean, this is what I love about our movement. It is a movement of the more the merrier. We unite our voices together. It's not a movement of like, oh, I can't help you because that won't help me. That's just not in my, that's not in my Rolodex of thoughts.
No, it's not. No, and I can appreciate that. Let me one word on the Smith-Mundt Act that you talked about. Mm-hmm. This was an act that was put in place decades ago, but only said you could propagandize outside of the United States. You cannot do it to the United States citizens.
Yeah, we're able to do it to other governments, but we weren't able to actually do it on ourselves.
We can lie to them. We can lie to them, but not lie to us. What Obama did, he tried to get an act passed, and it didn't pass, so he hid it in the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, and it is, in fact, in place to where whatever you're watching on, name the network, they could be lying to you, and that was okayed by the Obama administration. We need to change that, and a lot of people want us to change that in Charlie Kirk's name. I'd like to see us do that. How did you connect with TPUSA? How did you become friends with Charlie?
So they had been asking me, some of the younger people had seen that I'd come out as conservative, I'd come out as a Christian, and a few of them had been like saying, would you come to this event? And I would say, only as a keynote speaker. This is a lesson in sometimes your no protects your yes. And then I think Charlie and Erica and TPUSA, some people fall in the gap of not really knowing what I do, because I was in a very popular show. It was the number one show in the world at the time, but it was geared for a certain age of audience.
Right.
But those kids have grown up. And the phrase that I always hear from them is, you raised me. Yes. You're like a second mom to me. And so they asked me to speak first at the Young Women's Leadership Summit last year in the summer of 2024. And it was voted, people loved it. That was their favorite speech, many of them. And I just kind of rallied the crowd and talked about cancel culture. And it just resonated with the audience. And then I think they learned when they saw my line of people at my meet and greet go, out and around the building, I think they're like, oh, wait a second. She's got something to say, And so Charlie was gracious enough to really give me a platform and a microphone when people like Disney were wanting to mask me and muzzle me and shut me up and deny that I ever existed.
It is Leigh-Allyn Baker. Go and follow her everywhere. Again, L_A_Baker_13 on Instagram. She's a great follow. Tons of followers there. Go and follow everything she does. And check out this series called A Week Away over at angel.com. If you go to Leigh-Allyn Baker over on Instagram, you can save 30% on signing up for Angel, which I think is amazing. What do you think of cancel culture today? And I'm gonna say a couple of things that you can agree with or disagree with. I feel like this is the way it's going. I think cancel culture is almost over. That's why people are now dying. People are killing people to shut them up because we're unafraid now. Where do you think it is today compared to when you were working with Disney? Because Disney just did this whole flip flop with Jimmy Kimmel, which was weird. But what is the state of cancel culture? Do you agree that we've got them just about done? Therefore, they're firing shots at us, literally?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the movement is powerless at this point. I think that what they do is they want it to see, we've always said before that we're the silent majority. My plea to people is stop being silent. Let's remove that word. We are just the majority. There is a majority of Americans that are just reasonable people that want the government out of our lives. That was the message that Charlie was trying to get people.
Right.
And the way that he was getting people to open up was to have a dialogue, to have a conversation with people. I do the same thing when I go on campus tours with TPUSA. I want to have a dialogue. I want to have a conversation. And there was one girl who, when I went to Baylor University to speak, it hadn't quite dawned on me yet, this TPUSA environment where your enemies come to kind of trap you, to catch you, at things. And when I had finished that, the next day, an article came out that said, keep your enemies close. And I thought, oh boy, what have I walked into now? And this sweet girl wrote this article and said, I went there thinking that she was the enemy. And what I've learned is that she was more human than I ever could believe. And she had such a heart. And she said, I learned that we all have so much more in common that we have differently, but the media spins it another way. And her big takeaway was, I will never again judge someone by an edited 15-second TikTok video.
Oh, I love it. That is so perfect. That's exactly what we want. It's exactly what Charlie did. It's what you're doing on my radio show every day. We take anybody who wants to call in and mix it up. That's the problem. If we talk to each other, we'll realize in this country, we agree on 75 to 80% of everything. Then we can argue about 20 or 25% of the other stuff. That's why those who want to be monarchs need us to shut up. If we keep on talking, more people will come around.
Danger. Isn't that the danger? The danger is they don't like the people who stand in the gap.
Right.
They like the people who are either, if I make a fire post and it's just, I know it's fire, I'm just doing it to just make people laugh.
Right.
And as long as it's dividing, they'll run the heck out of that. But the second I make posts about us uniting and coming together as a nation is the second I'm censored. That is the real danger. The real danger is reaching your hand out to your neighbor who feels completely different and saying, hey, tell me why you feel that way.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I share with you why I feel this way?
Right.
Because the truth of the matter is, I find that we all mostly agree on the things that we feel about these words that have now become nasty. Diversity,
Yes.
Great. Inclusion, great. Equity, great. But we disagree that in a government organized propaganda machine called DEI is going to solve that problem. So what we disagree with is ways to resolve that problem, the problems that we have in our country. We disagree with the ways that we do it.
Well, I mean, this country was built on debate. This country was built on mixing up ideas. I had somebody, I do TikTok lives a lot, and somebody jumped in the other night, young lady, last night as a matter of fact, and she said, I am against what they did to Jimmy Kimmel because of the First Amendment. And then I asked her what she thought the First Amendment was, and she had no idea. She thought it was anybody could say anything they want, anytime they want, and there's no recourse. No, we have the First Amendment, but there are consequences. If you work for my company, Joe Pags Media, and you say that I should die, or that somebody who killed somebody in the conservative movement was also conservative, I have every right to say you can't work here. And she got a great understanding of that. She literally said, thank you. Nobody's ever actually had a conversation about the meaning of the First Amendment, what it does, what it doesn't do, who it protects you from. You can't be arrested by the government because of your First Amendment, but ABC can say Jimmy Kimmel said a horrible thing.
Yes, and Disney, just much as when I was working for Disney Channel, I didn't go out and speak as an adult. I had to keep in mind that my audience was young and keep it G-rated because I represent that company. It's unfortunate that I was discriminated against by them when I spoke out about my experience with vaccines, and then they refused to hire me anymore, even though we had like a 10 to 14 year career working together.
Yes.
So that was unfortunate, but then I don't want to work with you either.
No, it's a great point.
I don't want to work with you.
No, 100%. And by the way, they were wrong with you, and they were wrong with Gina Carano. They were wrong with a lot of people. They were right with Jimmy Kimmel this time, and then gave in like 2 days later. It's all very strange, but at the end of the day, it's up to them if they want to. Now, if they're defaming you, that's another route. But if they just decide, I don't want to work with Joe Pags, they don't have to.
Right.
At the end of the day, if Donald Trump says arrest Joe Pags for saying what he said, that's the First Amendment problem.
Correct.
What do you make of Disney today? Do you think they're just confused there? They really, really, really wanted to come out on the right end of this Jimmy Kimmel thing, but then put him back on a couple of days later.
Well, you have to keep in mind, people need to keep in mind that that Disney is a corporation. And a lot of times it's just like the way Meta gave way. I cannot believe that little weasel, Mark Zuckerberg, comes up after thrashing my career, after thrashing any brand deal that I could have had, the books that I was selling,
right?
Labeled me as giving misinformation. And then later just comes out and says, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but the government pressured us. And like, we were forced to like label people that were telling the truth as giving misinformation. And oh, well, I mean, that's it.
That's
right?
a First Amendment violation, by the way. When the government got a hold of Twitter and Facebook and all these other places and said, shut down Leigh-Allyn Baker, that is a violation of your God-given right. That's the difference. Now, again, Disney and ABC suck because of what they did to you. They suck because of what they did to Gina. But what they did with Jimmy, it looked like they wanted to come out in the mountain of right and then decided not to. And then he comes out last night fake crying. I don't know if you've seen the video. I didn't give him my ratings last night, but I saw the video today. He came out fake crying that he never intended to say or take a side on who the bad guy was on. And that's not true. Exactly he literally said that MAGA, people like you and me, are trying to pretend like he wasn't one of us.
And let's be honest, as a comedian, there was no punchline to that joke.
It wasn't a joke. He was telling a news story.
A joke all day. There was no setup and no punchline. He made a blatant statement that was a lie.
Right. 100% lie. And in that instance, when you're being somebody who delivers news and information, there's a different standard. ABC should have stuck to their guns here, figuratively, obviously. What do you think is going to happen with that? 58 stations didn't run him last night. He was already losing money for the company.
So I think that Disney's trying to say, oh crap, we've already alienated the non-woke audience. Now we're alienating the woke audience. How do we get out of this? Okay, let's just put him back on, say, oopsie daisies, we did the wrong thing. We believe in the First Amendment. Suddenly now, all of a sudden they believe in it. And then what's going to happen is he didn't have the ratings before. He won't have the ratings now, even more so. And they're going to have to cut him loose. Only this time it's not going to be over a terrible thing that he said. This time it's going to be because he had a terrible show.
Exactly right. It's Leigh-Allyn Baker. Go and save some money on Angel. You can go and sign up for Angel Studios. It's angel.com. But go to her Instagram to get 30% off. L_A_Baker_13. And I'll make sure that I repost this over on Instagram so they can find out where to go and follow you. Save the money right now. Tell me about A Week Away. I'm sorry, haven't seen it yet. So fill me in.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. This is, and I'm not like the lead in it. I'm like a mom in it. I have an integral role as far as the story development goes.
Right.
But I'm telling you, it is so good. So if you take the musical Glee,
okay,
and you put it at a Christian church camp for the summer, that is what this series is.
Nice. And is it a limited series? I don't know how the series work on Angel. Is it limited? Is it something that'll keep on going if the ratings are there?
There are 7 episodes, but so far it has been the highest voted and rated show on Angel. And so they are already expressing interest in a season 2 and a movie for theaters, possibly.
Now, is there singing in it? Are you guys singing and dancing and stuff too?
I don't have a song, but I told them season 2, I want my own song and dance. Otherwise, I'm going to be behind these dancers getting down with it anyway.
I love it.
I'm like, try and cut me out of the background. But it is so good. There are songs that will break you. This is going to bend more kids to their knees and give them the hope that they need during this time when the world is so desperate. During times of war, it's pretty classic in the history of film anyway, that the musicals and the comedies start doing really well because people want messages of hope. And so this one, it hits on all levels. The dancers are incredible. The singers are beautiful. The songs are all original and they're absolutely stunning. And I think that this entire generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, even adults will resonate with this.
Is Gen Alpha a thing? Really?
My baby is a Gen Alpha.
I had no idea. I mean, Gen Alpha.
My
There you
baby,
go.
my baby just turned 13, Joe Pags, but he's a baby.
My youngest is 10, but we'll get into that later. I've got 5 daughters. That's why I keep on going to the gym. It is Leigh-Allyn Baker. Go to L_A_Baker_13 on Instagram. Save 30% on Angel right now. I can't wait to see the series. I love that you came back on the show today. I love that we're friends. And keep on doing what you're doing. We are seeing a resurgence in this country because of people like you, and certainly on the heels of Charlie's assassination, where we're not going to have 1,000 times more Leigh-Allyn Bakers than we had before, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, love it.
We're going to come back on. Will you come back on again
I
soon?
will. Joe Pags, I'll come on with you anytime. I just love you and adore you, and thank you for all that you do. And I'm here for you, and I know that you're here for me. And the reason I ran up to you that day to give you a hug is because I needed to hug you.
And I needed to hug you back, and I'm gonna show people that picture on my show tonight as well. We took a picture together. Leigh-Allyn Baker, anytime you're anywhere near me, let's do something together, and I appreciate everything that you do. Let's do it again soon.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. We're back after this. Stay right here.